Mississippi Governor Phil Bryant joined ranks with North Carolina on Tuesday when he signed into law a religious freedom bill that critics call the most sweeping anti-LGBT legislation in the United States.
Now, the law applies to marriage licenses, jobs, housing, even an employer's dress code, and prevents state government from intervening once religious beliefs are the reason given for refusal of service. Mark Stern is a writer for Slate. He covers the law and LGBTQ issues, and he's joining us now to talk about this. So, Mark, thanks for being here. Several states are criticizing Mississippi, and last week, North Carolina for a similar religious freedom bill. So how is this bill being received in Mississippi?
Well, somewhat surprisingly, Mississippi has been pretty receptive to the bill in a way that North Carolinians generally weren't. There was a huge outcry in North Carolina. There are a lot of liberal pockets. It's a fairly moderate state. And so I think a lot of people in North Carolina were just shocked and stunned. The bill seemed to come out of nowhere. Mississippi has had more time to process it. This has been in the works for a little while. Mississippi actually passed a milder religious liberty bill a couple years ago. So they've already had a kind of similar legislation on the books, but this takes it way farther. And the polls seem to show that most Mississippians are pretty happy with a religious liberty bill that has some kind of anti-LGBT effect. They don't seem to mind. You don't really see the massive rallies and outcry that you did in North Carolina. It's just a different ballgame and a very different state.
For people, though, that haven't really been following this, specifically, what does this bill mean?
Well, the bill is really a lot worse than the governor described it, than even the legislature described it. I mean, I've called it an anti-LGBT segregation bill. That's a little dramatic, but I think it gets to the heart of what it does. Like you said, landlords can evict tenants for being LGBT. Employers can fire employees for being LGBT. Anyone in the wedding-related industry, florists, bakers, even limousine drivers and DJs can refuse to serve same-sex couples. I really see this bill as a way to create a separate space for LGBT people and even make them sort of a separate, lesser class of citizens.
It's really striking, and I wonder, what are the repercussions of a bill like this in some of these states? I mean, we know that Governor Cuomo has talked about this here in New York. I mean, what can the states face going forward?
Well, already a number of fairly progressive cities and states, including most recently Vermont, have signed travel bans that forbid state employees from traveling to these states, spending money there unless it's absolutely essential to the state functioning. So you're going to see a drop in revenue. You're going to see businesses that are based in Mississippi that have wings in Mississippi just really explode with rage. It's what you saw in North Carolina. It was unprecedented, the number of businesses that started to say, we don't want this is not us. I think you'll see it in Mississippi too. It's not quite the corporate leader that North Carolina is, but there are still a lot of businesses, corporations, associations there that don't want to have to be subject to these kinds of laws and that want to be able to draw top talent and tell their employees, you are protected by the state.
Mark Stern, thank you so much for your reporting at Slate. We really appreciate you joining us.
Thanks for having me on.
All right.